Touchstone Pictures. Monstrous trolls have sprung to life.
I sure hope you're from Cleveland.
And now Ernest P. Worrell is springing into action. He'll try anything.
I know Tai Chi Kung Fu, chow mein.
And everything.
Your shoes untied.
To save the day.
It's showtime.
It's Ernest P. Worrell in a brand new movie. Ernest Scared Stupid.
How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips? Know what I mean?
Starts Friday, October 11th at a theater near you.
Welcome to They Called Us a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and other podcast services by searching They Called Us a Movie. We are part of the Main Damie Network. To find more from us, check out the website themaindamie.com or on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Main Damie. We're also now a proud member of Geek Vibes Nation. You can find them at gvnation.com. Welcome back to They Called Us a Movie. This is Anthony Del Vecchio. With me, as always, is Dan Aquino and Mark Myers. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, everyone. Question for you. What's your thing with Dune? Do you guys interested in seeing it? Because I have a bunch of friends and co-workers that are sort of swing the gambit on that. I don't know if I've ever talked to you guys about that.
I have never seen the original, never read the book, so I am on the, I don't know. I'm sure it's fine for a camp.
There's a couple co-workers that were like doing that really gatekeepy like thing, like, you don't know Dune? In work. And It made me do that thing that you guys know with me, where I'm like, should I know Dune? Should I? Is this something I should know? Like, really self-conscious about it. And so that's why I want to check in with you guys.
Yeah.
I saw the David Fincher Dune, and
David Lynch.
I hated it. Oh, yeah.
David Lynch.
What did I say? Fincher? Yeah, David Lynch. I'm sorry. Oh, who's David Fincher? Is that a person?
It's another director.
Director.
But... Oh, okay. Yeah, David Lynch. Yeah, I saw that, and I hated it.
I hear
it was really bad. Yeah.
Like, I am aware of the documentary called Jodorowsky's Dunes about Alejandro Jodorowsky when he was trying to. That's about it. I have no allegiance to Dune. I'm not a huge Timothée Chalamet fan. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal. He's just not my type of man. If this is Chris Hemsworth in the lead role, day one I'll be there, baby. But scrawny little Edward Scissorhands looking Timothée Chalamet. No.
That's. I think you're thinking of Willy Wonka looking motherfucker.
Look, I can't get behind a leading man with such small shoulders, man. He doesn't have the shoulders to carry a film.
There you go.
I was like 25, maybe 26.
Okay. Yeah, so he's old enough to have broader shoulders, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. If he was a teenager, then I can kind of give him a pass.
No. I mean, he'll probably forever be able to play a teenager. He's got like DiCaprio syndrome, where he's forever going to look like he's wearing his dad's clothes, Like DiCaprio, it's of no fault of his own. I think DiCaprio is a fine actor, but like Shutter Island is the big one for me because it's also like period clothes.
Yeah.
It looks like he's playing dress up the entire time. And I guess that's really the point of Shutter Island is sort of he is playing dress up, but he looks like, I'm not supposed to be wearing these. These are my dad's because they don't fit quite right. And I'm perpetually 17.
I'm trying to remember. Did Shutter Island take place in the 50s?
It's kind of indeterminate of when it happens.
Okay.
But 50s, 60s-ish. He's got like the hat, the coat.
I feel like a lot of men dressed in overly baggy clothing, right? Like, 'cause you saw some older people in that time. They had the bigger coats.
I would imagine a lot of that had to do with people not having enough money to get suits tailored. And just bought something that just fit, quote unquote.
Right.
You'll grow into it.
Yeah.
Maybe was tailoring a thing in the 50s?
Yeah.
It had to have been, right?
I'm sure it was even more of a thing because everyone wore a suit to work.
That's a good point. Yeah, they wore it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Sunday best.
Yeah, I went to ball game stuff.
That's right. And flying, when you flew, you had to dress up. Everybody was a spy. So wait, are we still talking about Timothée Chalamet? Shyamalan?
Yeah. Shamalama Ding Dong.
Shamalama Ding Dong. For the life of me, I'll never get his last name right.
I think it's Chalamet. Timothy, and he's got
Chalamet.
that, and it's Timothy with 2 E's at the end. Get bent,
Oh.
dude.
Oh man, he's made a mortal enemy out of you.
Yeah.
I am beyond glad that my stammering into a Dune question has led to that sentence from Matt.
I have no love for this movie. I have no desire to see the new one. Supposedly Zendaya only has like 3 lines in it. Well, that's who I really want to see. So
Yeah.
I don't
Speaking of
care.
her, I'm just looking at Timothy Chalamet pictures, and there's one of them on the red carpet together. She's like stunning, dressed to the nines, and he's wearing like a sparkly crew neck sweatshirt. Fuck,
I
dude.
see, and also, you know what? I do have a bone to pick with Timothy because I feel like he's trying to steal Tom Holland's girl there. They're like best friends now. Like, hey man, that's Spider-Man's chick. All right, like relax there, pump the brakes.
You saying that men and women can't be friends? I
There's
mean,
no such thing. No such thing as friends.
yeah. I mean, they're two very attractive people, so I could probably say that. Yeah, I probably couldn't be Zendaya with getting weird.
Exactly. And when I hear it's like they've become very good friends in like Hollywood or in any time in real life, right?
Right.
So I'm like,
It's
oh,
usually
they've
Hollywood.
become.
Hollywood's like the Olympic Village at all times, right? Like
Oh man,
everybody's fucking
yeah.
everybody.
That's how it seems, at least, right? Or
I mean,
maybe
if
in our
Entourage
mind,
taught me anything.
Right.
Right.
Vinny Chase was always fucking.
right? But he was also like borderline underage girls, so I hope that's not what's going on there. But regardless, I do think that there's some tomfoolery going. I don't like how that's happening to Spidey. Right? He leads a rough life as it is. All right.
Oh, here's a picture.
First he lost Tony, then he's losing Zendaya. Terrible.
The heartbreak is forever. Here's a picture of Timothy Chalamet, a cannibal, Army Hammer.
Before or after he?
Probably before. This looks like Call Me by Your red carpet.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Like, yeah, I still hang out with him, even though I know he's a cannibal. He's not that bad of a guy.
Except for the cannibal.
Right.
Well, he hasn't eaten me yet.
Right, so he can't be that bad. This is everyone else's problem.
Some of his best friends are.
Right.
Yeah. How could I eat people? My best friends are. Okay, so guys, what have you watched this week? Anything?
I watched 2 movies. One was on Netflix called Till Death with our girl Megan Fox.
Okay.
Solid movie. It's basically, have you gentlemen seen Gerald's Game?
I haven't, but I know the basic premise of this movie.
Right. So, estranged wife and husband go to a remote cabin, and they're trying to spice up their marriage. Husband ties himself to the wife. Husband dies, and now the wife has to kind of figure out how to survive. This is kind of amped up to 11, where Megan Fox is married to some big shot lawyer, but she's cheating on him. There's a strained relationship there, and he takes her to a remote cabin in the wintertime. And this time, instead of in the Gerald's Game, he has a heart attack. In this movie, spoiler alert, he blows his brains out, handcuffed to Megan Fox. So it's really Megan Fox carrying the movie, and it's pretty good. I'd probably give it a 6.5 out of 10. Not bad. Some really good suspenseful moments.
Gotcha.
And I love Megan Fox. Who doesn't? And then the other movie I watched was not a horror movie. I saw The Last Duel theaters.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
What made you go to theaters to see this? Because I have seen, I've heard good things, but I've literally seen zero marketing.
Right, and that's what kind of surprised me because I went with a mutual friend of ours, and I thought we would go see Bond. That just seemed like more up our friend's alley, and I was like, all right, well, he wanted to see The Last Duel because someone said it's kind of gladiator-esque.
Oh.
So yeah, but it was really good. I was very surprised. It didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. Essentially, it's based off a true story in 1300 France. And the big surprise was Matt Damon and Ben Affleck hate each other. Usually they're best friends, right? They're boys in whatever movie they're in. But yeah, they don't like each other. Adam Driver's awesome in it. Matt Damon's good. I like Matt Damon, obviously. But essentially, it's a tale of 3 different sides of a story. So there's Matt Damon's truth, Adam Driver's truth, and then the truth is in. It's really well done. It's a good period piece. I would highly recommend it. It's kind of a diamond in the rough.
Sounds like Rashomon.
I've never seen Rashomon.
Oh, that's an excellent max if you have.
Okay, yeah, I gotta check that out.
Okay, Mark, what have you not watched this week?
So I considered Midsommar, but did not pull the trigger. But in all seriousness, I will actually have a movie to talk about next week because I am going to see Last Night in Soho this weekend coming up. So I will be able to contribute next week because it's one of the movies I've been looking forward to for months now. So just like Bond, I am glad that it is finally here.
Great. And I watched a few movies. I watched a lot of horror movies this week. I just wanted to talk about specifically Halloween Kills because I went to the theater to see it. And Dan,
Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
you had watched it last week. I saw it in theaters. It was a afternoon on Friday, so there was like 3 other people in the theater. I can't say I hate it, but I don't like it a whole lot. That's for damn sure. The Michael Myers parts were cool. Michael's killing some motherfuckers. Always great. But everybody's just so fucking lame in this. Like, they introduce so many characters and so many townspeople, and everyone's just a fucking dork throughout this whole goddamn movie. Everyone in Haddonfield's a fucking dork. They only have like 3 guns among all the townspeople. Like, why not more? Where's a shotgun when you need it?
That is definitely not middle America for you.
I mean, Haddonfield, Illinois, it should be though. Anthony Michael Hall sucks balls in this movie.
He offered nothing
And
in that movie. I hated that they had him in it.
he's also pretty terrible in the movie, right, Ant?
Yeah. And it's just like weird choices to bring certain characters back. Like the nurse from the first 10 minutes of the original Halloween is all of a sudden a character in this movie just for her, spoiler alert, for her to die. Because everybody fucking
Yeah.
it's weird. And she's palling around with Tommy Doyle and Lindsay from across the street. It's like, it's just stupid. Like, and maybe it's being after, we're a generation that has lived through Columbine and 9/11 and a 20-year war. It's quaint that this whole town is so upset that 3 people were murdered 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it has a stranglehold on this entire town, what has happened 40 years ago, because most of the people, because it takes place immediately after the events of the first one, so most of these people are unaware of the events that have happened so far that night, so they have no idea that Michael Myers is going around killing people. Michael Myers to them is still the story that happened 40 years ago. And Tommy Doyle barely knows anybody that died in that movie. The one person he knows from 40 years ago was his babysitter that survived, Laurie Strode. Lindsay survived. This is Lindsay's babysitter that got it, and he doesn't know anything about PJ Souls' character and her boyfriend. It's stupid. I said it on Twitter. It's like, it's not the worst Halloween, but it's the worst Halloween movie from people that should know better. Because this whole series is like, this whole trilogy is created. David Gordon Green and what's his name, Danny McBride.
Danny McBride
Have revitalized it with like an appreciation for the originals. It's not like some sort of cash grab like Halloween Resurrection was or Halloween H2O. Like, these people that grew up as fans of the series, and now they're like, oh, now as fans we have a great addition to this lore, and we're gonna ignore most of them and create our own timeline. And that sounds like it's in the proper hands. It's just silly. It's so cringy at some parts. Like go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you think it would have made more sense if Michael wasn't there, right? There was no Michael Myers.
So I've said that's something that I've said before. Like, if 2018, so my version of 2018's Halloween is this the reason why they won't give me money to make a movie is the whole setup of Laurie Strode, has prepared for 40 years for Michael to come back. She's on her guard for 40 years, but he never comes back. He's either, maybe he hangs himself in prison or he comes out and he's a normal person. He has no interest in killing anybody. And they almost do it in 2018 because 2018, he has no interest in killing her. He's just killing. Like, she imagines this connection with Michael, which I love. I love that aspect of this trilogy where she has imagined this for 40 years, that there is some sort of connection between her and Michael, and he is going to come back to finish the job of what he'd failed to do 40 years prior. So that I like.
That's the point. That's like the twist of this movie, right?
It's the twist of the second. Like, they say that in this, but it's really the twist of the first one, because the whole setup is that the doctor drives him to Laurie, but that's the only reason why they come face to face at the end. But yeah, it's just it's just super corny, and I wasn't expecting something corny. Like all the townspeople stuff is just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they're a bunch of they're a town full of fucking dorks. Like nobody's cool. Nobody's like somebody who's like, man, I hope that person survives. It's like, hope Michael just impales this person on something really cool.
I thought the gay couple was pretty funny. I
But
thought they were good characters.
they're funny, but is there a purpose other than that?
Not really.
Like, did
No,
you want to see them survive? Did you
what the one guy I did.
Michael
Oh,
McDonald?
Michael McDonald. I thought that would have been cool if he survived, but I'm not totally bummed that he didn't.
Like the couple, like the nurse doctor couple,
Oh,
they were
corny.
kind of stupid. I
Her
threw
death
my
was pretty cool though.
yeah. I have no idea why she's shooting from 40 yards away through a door though.
Right. Because these people are idiots.
Yeah. And there was times where I was looking for somebody to talk to in the theater. It was just like
Really?
I was just like I threw up my hands when, like, for some reason the Strode women do not hold on to their weapons ever. It's like, oh, I stabbed Michael. Now I'm gonna throw this perfectly good weapon to the side, so I'll never use it again. Like,
Right.
fuck you, Judy Greer.
And for some reason, nobody likes to go for the head.
Nobody like, just decapitate him. Like,
Right.
there's got to be a saw somewhere in this town, chainsaw or
Or
otherwise.
a shovel. A
Yeah.
shovel. You could do it with a shovel.
I've seen that.
Or just like, when he's on the ground, tie some chains around his arms and tie some chains around his legs, tie those to 2 trucks and pull.
That would be a pretty cool death.
Yeah. I mean, obviously Michael wasn't going to die in this movie because there's a third one, but just
Right.
I would prefer Michael surviving without having to rely on stupid decisions made by characters we're to care about.
I also really hated the beginning with the cop as a kid. Like, it
Mhm.
was my fault. Not really. I guess, but there's no need for it.
I don't buy the whole thing of like, oh, I stopped Loomis from killing him. Like, why would you do that? Like, I was just trying to do the right thing. It's like, there's nothing in any of the story that comes off as that's the right thing to do.
Especially after you murder your partner.
Yeah.
That's the last thing.
It was
that
pretty
is the
disappointing.
right thing.
That's
Yeah.
all. I guess that's the long and short of it. I was disappointed in it. And
It didn't make me excited for Halloween Ends.
yeah, and I knew going into it, like, there was like mixed reviews, and I was hoping that just like the pure brutality of Michael Myers in this one was going to carry it through, but there's a lot of flaws in it that I just ignore. It's like a 5, and I don't really even feel kind of that high of a score. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the
disappointing.
kills were they had some good kills. I thought the opening scene with Michael was pretty cool with the firefighters.
Firefighter scene's super cool,
Yeah.
but
That was
also I don't know why the firefighters are ready to throw down.
For all they know, this guy is just like he's a survivor.
This guy needs medical attention. Not I'm getting my axe ready.
And I don't understand how this guy is so capable of easily dispatching 10 people at once.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna need to explain it. Like,
Yeah.
it's gone too far at this point. It's like he's survived too much.
I mean, he's been beaten to
Yeah.
beaten with a baseball bat, stabbed multiple times, shot multiple times. And I guess what they're trying to say is every time he kills, he transcends more. But that's not grounded anymore. I thought we were trying to make a grounded Halloween, and
Right.
I guess not.
Yeah, I think they got a little greedy on his powers without explaining them. It's like, okay, now you're stepping into the supernatural. Like,
Yeah.
he's been shot multiple times.
Burned alive.
He's 65. Like like, you got to explain this at some point.
Yeah, something needs to be done here. It better not be something stupid like he's a lab experiment or some shit.
Right. It's like, even like the originals, they always explain, as stupid as their explanations were of why there's a new one and how Michael survived the last movie. There was always an explanation,
Yeah.
It's like, I think going from Halloween 2 to Halloween 4, I think, like, that wasn't Michael under that mask at the end of Halloween 2. That was somebody else or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Right. They run over some guy, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
they thought it was Michael, but it wasn't.
And I think Halloween 4 into 5 is where the Thorn
Yeah, the
cultists
Thorn.
start like the Man in Black, I think, picks them up. I don't remember
And I
100%.
think in one movie, one of the kids kind of becomes possessed.
That's the end of Halloween 4, is
Okay.
where Danielle Harris's character kills her stepmom, and it's like it sets it up like, oh, she's
She's the new
I
Michael.
suppose she's the new Michael Myers.
Yeah.
They never really follow through with that in 5.
You see, that kind of stuff would be way better if you pass the torch.
Yeah, but disappointing.
Yeah.
That's all I got. So, we are going to take a quick break, and you guys are going to listen to some ads, and we're going to pay those bills, and we'll be back in a second. And welcome back. And now it's time to get into this week's movie. And this week was the result of our Halloween themed Twitter poll. So we put up a poll last week to discuss for you guys to pick our movie. And this week's theme was movies that take place on Halloween. And I was a little bit of a stickler for you guys because we were getting a little bit. We're finding out a lot of movies do take place on Halloween, but that really does not play into the plot. Like, apparently The Exorcist technically takes place at some point on Halloween. Poltergeist technically takes place somewhere on Halloween. So we had to kind of draw the line in the sand, kind of Die Hard style. I said, if it says Halloween in its plot summary on Wikipedia, then it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. So, Dan, what was your pick? House 2.
I was gonna say I was really afraid that you were gonna ask me because I couldn't remember.
You picked House 2.
Okay,
Which I was surprised. I thought you were going to pick Trick or Treat.
but that's too good.
It is too. I mean, we also threw around The Exorcist and Poltergeist.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna go that route, so I just
Right.
figured, all right, let me pick a bad one.
Mark, what was your choice?
May, I believe it's called.
May, which I've heard good things. I know nothing about it other than I've heard.
I saw the weird trivia that one of the editors on that movie was Ryan Johnson.
Okay.
So I was like, not that I would notice that, oh, that's a Ryan Johnson edit. But it was just the name popped up when I was trying to find movies that took place on Halloween. They were like, oh, yeah, one of the associate editors was Ryan Johnson. I'm like, oh, okay. That's something interesting that we could talk about if it wins.
And then my pick. And I kind of cheesed it a little bit because everybody loves Ernest. And this will be our third Ernest movie.
Correct.
And I picked Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah. And before we get into it, I did a count on IMDb. There are 12 different iterations of Ernest that he has done. That's either been straight to video or the movie theater.
So 12 Ernest movies.
Yeah, 12 things where he's played Ernest, because there's some things like, hey, Vern, and then,
like the shorts or something.
Yeah,
like
those
that.
are the straight to, hour-long straight to VHS.
Gotcha. Yeah, so Ernest Scared Stupid from 1991. So, gentlemen, where are you coming from with Ernest Scared Stupid?
This is a Halloween staple, man. This is I watched this pretty much when it first came out in '91. I saw it with some friends. I would watch this pretty much every Halloween. It's such a stupid movie, but it's an Ernest movie. You got to expect it's pretty much it goes by cartoon physics essentially. So you shut your brain off, you enjoy Ernest. He's such a dumb character, but he means so well. I thought for the time period and for an Ernest movie, they had a pretty good budget value here. The trolls look cool at times. Some good. What's the word I'm looking for? Actual
Practical effects.
Practical effects. Yeah, I say it all the time. Some good practical effects here and there. Obviously, you're gonna get some cheese, but yeah, this movie is harmless. This is something that I would probably look forward to watching with my kid when they're old enough to enjoy horror movies. Yeah, I like this movie.
Great. Mark, what about you?
Yeah, so this has an actually strange tie in with luck that I had as a kid. I actually won a write-in contest for a local newspaper to go see this when our movie theater opened right down the street from our house. It was this and I forget the other movie that they were showing as the first two movies in this theater. And so I saw this in theaters when it came out. As part of a contest into our weekly local neighborhood newspaper. So it's always
what was the contest?
You just write your name and mail it to them, and they pick it randomly.
That was something more fun.
It's same here. I wish it was, but I won like tickets to Donny Park and this thing and a bunch of things when I was between the ages of like 6 and 10 for some unknown reason. Maybe I was one of like a dozen people actually entering these contests with this paper.
There you go.
I just have really good odds. But yeah, so I've watched this movie a few times. I think my main takeaway from watching this after watching the other two Ernest movies we watched is he works a lot better with young kids in terms of his character interactions over a whole movie. Like, that's why I think Saves Christmas is okay, but, doesn't age too well. In the fact that a lot of his interactions are with adults in that movie. So this one being a little more, he's being goofy for the kids, kind of gets into that wheelhouse that Ernest is supposed to be. But it is definitely one of those movies that if you want to like slowly get your kids into horror movies, you can sort of let this be like the gateway into it. It's silly enough to laugh. They may not get some jokes and references, like a lot of the John Wayne references for some reason.
Sure.
In this movie, but yeah, it's perfectly fine. Probably I would say at least top 3 of the main Ernest ones that went to theaters. It's definitely not one of like Goes to School that we watched that is absolute trash. But yeah, the one thing I did notice, and maybe I differ from some of you and maybe the audience, is the shtick doesn't work as well anymore for me. There was a lot of times I just sat there stone-faced and, things were getting drug out too much because he had to go through his 7 personality characters, during a scene. And I'm like, oh, come on. I would get it. Go. I don't know if it's a place and time thing or an age thing with that. But that was one thing that finally clicked with me watching through this movie.
Gotcha. As for me, I remember seeing this in theaters, and I think I talked about this memory on this podcast at least once. I remember going to the theater and my dad going up to the ticket counter, and he goes up to the counter and he talks to the usher, and he's like, "Can I get 4 tickets too?" And then he stops, dramatic pauses, turns and dead stares me straight in the eye, and he says, 4 tickets for stupid Ernest.
And
then
I'm gonna need you to do that in the accent.
I don't know if that's much of an accent word.
Okay.
Stupid Ernest. And he turns back around, and I don't really remember many times dragging my parents to the theater to see specifically kid movies. This and Cop and a Half, which my parents made sure to show up 20 minutes late. So the kid was already buddied up with Burt Reynolds by the time we walked into the theater. But yeah, this movie's fun. It's definitely a gateway horror movie. Probably is a generation's first jump scare. That scene in the bed with the little girl.
Yeah,
he's checking under the bed and then he pops up. Yeah, it's the shtick of all the multiple personalities of Ernest. I mean, if you're not 6, that probably doesn't work. It's fun though. Jim Varney, he's just so much fun to watch as this character. I think we've said that. Eartha Kitt is fantastic in this movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
She's great. Rimshot is the MVP of this movie.
Yeah, definitely. Because he almost kills Ernest. It's fantastic.
It's fun. It's a shame that Jim Varney died so young. I think we even said this on what we came across with Ernest Saves Christmas. That he's fun to watch. He's in his element here. And the practical effects are fantastic. It's from the Chiodo brothers who did the practical effects on Killer Clowns from Outer Space. They designed the trolls, which I think there's one they lift directly from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That makes perfect sense. They are very Killer Clown-esque.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good time. If you got young kids, I would 100% suggest trying to find this. We watched this via dubious means, our good friend. But yeah, it's weird that it's not streaming anywhere. I think it's technically owned by Disney, and that's probably the reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, question for you guys.
Okay.
Real quick. Since we've watched 3 Ernest, right? We've watched Scared Stupid, Saves Christmas, and Back to School, right?
Yep.
So marry, fuck, kill. These Ernest.
Okay.
What do you got?
This is easy. It's marry, scared, stupid, fuck, saves Christmas, and kill, ghost.
Mark, what do you
100%. The same thing. The only one I was sitting here debating on was, marry and fuck, because obviously we're killing Back to School.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree with Ant in the sense that, just to give a little more explanation, is that Scared Stupid you marry because you want to be able to watch it or be with it forever. Saves Christmas is that you need just that extra hit of Christmas. So yeah,
Interesting.
so
Get
you
all
watch
up in
that.
Christmas's guts.
Yeah, yeah. You're just like, man. I just got done watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I just need one more hit. Give me Ernest. Give me Ernest.
That's an interesting take, because I'm going the opposite way, where I marry Christmas fuck stupid, because in my opinion, Christmas is such a sacred time where it's like you don't want to fuck it, and you got to be married to it before you perform that, right? Like, because then baby Jesus is going to be upset. We don't want that. Like, Halloween, that's a time to you dress up like real slutty and whatever. Then you're like, hey, Ernest, Scared Stupid, come on over. Have a little party, you know what I'm saying? And then you get, you get a little rowdy with Ernest Scared Stupid.
Okay.
We're definitely killing facts that serves no purpose in life.
And going back to your point about Jim Varney, and his IMDb profile is interesting because you see that he finds his groove with Ernest, and it's basically all he does except for like Beverly Hillbillies.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, right before he passed, he got into, Toy Story, playing Slinky Dog. And it was just like, this is a man that was like, nope, I know what makes me money, and it looks like I need bank accounts running a little low. I need to go make another Ernest movie.
Right.
Let's go do it,
Definitely.
It didn't take much in between. That was one of my favorite, looks through an IMDb. It just going, wow, he did these little things for like Disney rides, and just any chance he got that someone would pay him to play Ernest, he would go do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like if he were still alive, he'd probably be doing another Ernest movie, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that'd
Ernest
be great.
Stops COVID or something.
A pandemic Ernest movie, all shot over Zoom.
And it's just him talking to the different personalities.
Talking to Vern. Hey, Vern, you know what I mean?
You got the shot there, Vern?
I'd watch that.
So would I. Yeah, of course.
Oh.
Governor of Pfizer, Vern.
And then Bobby and Tommy show up on the Zoom call.
Yeah, I'd watch it. Why not?
Yeah. So, Ernest Scared Stupid from 1991 is directed by John R. Cherry III, who directed just about every single Ernest, including Ernest Saves Christmas, which we've already covered. Stars Jim Varney, Eartha Kitt, Austin Nagler, Shay Astor, Jonas Mascartolo, John Cadenhead, and Bill Burge. IMDb score of 5.8 and a Rotten Tomato score of 17%. Budget $9.6 million. Box office 14.1. The modest returns on this is what made Disney stop ties with Ernest movies. That's why all the ones after that were directed. Yeah, you guys ready to get into the plot? You guys?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
All right,
chomping
Dan.
at the bit.
Dan, what do you got for us?
Okay, so if you listen to our podcast, this is the time where we give a shout out to two of our good friends, Tia and Brittany, and they have their very own podcast, Tea Time with Tia. It's a podcast where Tia and Brittany just basically shoot the shit, really. They pick a topic, and they just go freeform with it. Very lovely people, very nice. I got to meet them at the New York Comic-Con, and just the coolest people. Tia also writes for Geek Vibes Nation. She's their head writer. So go on over to gvnation.com. Check out her stuff there. Brittany streams Itty Bitty Brit on twitch.tv.com. Again, if you're looking for excellent people to get in contact with to entertain you, look no further than those two lovely ladies.
Okay, great. And we are going to take a quick break, and you guys are going to listen to some messages from friends of the podcast, and we'll be back in a
Hey everyone, this is Steve.
And this is Adam.
And we're part of the Hop Nation USA podcast,
Pittsburgh's #3 craft beer podcast.
Join us every Friday for new beer reviews.
We'll talk about the news, history, and homebrewing.
Plus, we'll sit down with the best brewers and industry personalities that'll have us.
So whether you're a casual drinker, a hazy boy hophead,
or even if you're a whale hunting cellar hoarder,
just search Hop Nation USA on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher and join the nation.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. It's me, George, from the best little horror house in Philly, the show where we talk about the best horror movie ever made, according to our guest at least. We've talked about groundbreaking classics like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Alien, but we've also got a lot of great ones coming up, including some very fun guests like Len Kabaczynski of Swamp Zombies and Red Letter Media fame, Caroline Williams, the star of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and Chase Williamson from John Dies at the End. So make sure you're subscribed to the best little horror house in Philly, and I'll see you boils and ghouls over there.
And welcome back. Now it's time to get into the plot for Ernest, Scared, Stupid. We open on Jim Varney as Ernest, mugging for the camera as he reacts to clips of public domain horror movies as the credits roll. Movies include Nosferatu, White Zombie, Phantom from Space, The Killer Shrew's Little Shop of Horrors, and many more. We cut to Briarville. Go ahead.
I was going to say, that has to be one of my favorite openings to an Ernest movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It gets to the point, it's kind of dumb, and it's a great use of scene setting for this type of movie.
Yeah, definitely. And we cut to Briarville, Missouri. Long time ago, as a girl gets chased through the woods by something unseen, very reminiscent of the opening of Troll 2. As the thing closes in on the little girl, Annette gets tossed over the thing, and a group of Salem-era looking people cheer the capture of this thing. Then at night, Jim Varney plays some sort of authority figure as the townspeople gather to see the thing buried and an oak tree is planted. Apparently, this killed more than a couple of towns' children. Before he is buried, the troll curses the townspeople in the towns. At a certain point in the future, one of their own will spill their blood on the tree, and it will set the troll free. Something like that. That's what I heard.
Who knows?
There was no subtitles on this, so I couldn't get exactly what the troll said. It turns out that this is a legend being relayed by Elizabeth, an elementary school student, to her classmates as a report on the history of their town. As some bully kid calls Elizabeth out on trying to pass off a legend as history, Kenny, our hero kid, white knights for Elizabeth. And the bully tries to embarrass Kenny by saying he likes Elizabeth, but probably won't come back in some sort of social anxiety for Kenny in about 5 years.
So definitely the kid's first experience with simping.
Yep. He's simping hard for Elizabeth, and she thinks he's a dork. The teacher waves the bully off, saying that the legends are a part of history, especially for a town with such a unique history, such as the town of Briarsville. And as she is a black woman, you just know, based on how she said that and how this is Missouri, that the town's past must be checkered with some racist-ass shit.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that thought that.
Well, they seem to do a good job at the beginning of having everyone's included on capturing this creature, right?
Yep.
I mean, you have white people and black people. It's like, I wonder what the relationships are there.
I wonder if those people were required to be there.
Right. I was curious, but they skirt that. It's just like, we're capturing a monster. Speak nothing of anything else going on here.
Yeah. Elizabeth then finishes the story, telling the teacher that the curse put on Phineas, Jim Varney's character from the Before Times, would be that his descendants would get dumber and dumber as the generations passed. Cut to Ernest P. Worrell, working as a sanitation worker, trying out some sort of invention he's made to automate his garbage truck. And sure enough, the invention immediately goes haywire and winds up tossing Ernest into the back of the truck. And then his Jack Russell rim shot accidentally turns on the compactor, and Ernest winds up in a Star Wars-esque garbage compactor situation. Tries to prop the compactor open with an exhaust pipe and then a shovel, and then tries to jam a doll head into the gears, plus a few other attempts to stop it, but nothing.
Luckily, the hint, Ernest, take the hint.
Luckily, Rimshot hogs the horn enough to get Kenny and Elizabeth to come out, and Kenny manages to open the truck. And he has a terrible John Wayne impression, which Elizabeth does not approve of. She rolls her eyes so hard they almost fall out of her head.
She definitely read that interview from John Wayne.
Well, I was thinking, like, in no circumstance ever is quoting John Wayne gonna get you the girl.
Yeah, especially if you're 9 and she doesn't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, oh, that's cool. That's gonna impress me. A John Wayne impression.
Right, something that my dad loves.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna get me.
Did your grandma make you watch The Searchers on TCM one weekend? But he saves Ernest from a certain death as he comes spilling out of the truck with a giant cube of garbage. Meanwhile, the mayor and sheriff are having a conversation specifically about Ernest. Specifically, Ernest was contracted to clean out a house for the Hackmore estate, but he hasn't, and the mayor wants him fired, which seems to be a theme in Ernest movies.
Right, like he can never hold a job.
He's always clinging to a job. That is the plot of Goes to School. He goes back to school because he gets fired because apparently you needed a degree to be a janitor at that school.
And then he's barely hanging on being a taxi and driver and Saves Christmas.
Oh, he gets fired, doesn't
he
he?
gets fired, yeah.
He gets fired.
Because he gives Santa a free ride.
That's right. Yep. Ernest just
And doesn't charge him fare.
yeah. Just gets the shit kicked out of him from capitalism.
Right, he's just too nice. He can't survive in this capitalist society.
Nope. He's an original socialist. OG.
Yeah.
And then Ernest drives past, specifically not going towards the house he's supposed to be cleaning out. The sheriff pulls Ernest over to yell at him about not doing his job and then tells Kenny and Elizabeth to get in his car. Kenny is the sheriff's son. Tells Ernest to go to the Hackmore place.
I'm curious, why is it the sheriff's job to tell a trash collector to do something? Right?
I feel like there are only two people of authority in this town. One is the sheriff, the other is the mayor. And they micromanage things.
Yeah, that'd be weird, right? It's like the local sheriff tells, the baker, hey man, you're supposed to bake 12 dozen bear claws. What's going on here?
Yeah, I think the mayor and the sheriff are having an argument about it, and I think basically the town has decided that the Hackmore estate has to be cleaned. It's like a law. So I guess he put Ernest in charge of it as basically his job as clean that out.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like he had a writ from the state or the county or whatever. I guess county because it's sheriff. To have that property clean.
So is that his only job then? Like he's just doing that and then he's fired?
I mean, he's supposed to be picking up trash, but later on, people are complaining that no one's picked up their trash in 2 days.
Yeah.
Is it's his way of prolonging his contract?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not an idiot. He knows what he's done.
I was just waiting for the mayor to yell at the sheriff that he needed to figure out a way to keep Ernest in check because he didn't want to have to close the town on Halloween.
These beaches will be open.
It'll be the best, one of the best Halloweens we've ever had.
So he tells Ernest to go to the Hackmore place and clean it out, or he's going to lose his job. So Ernest goes to the Hackmore place, and we find out that he hasn't gone to the Hackmore place because he's afraid of it and the woman that lives there. The yard is full of trash and looks kind of like the judge's house or nothing but trouble. Knocks on the door, immediately determines that no one is home, and then goes to leave. Then Eartha Kitt comes out of the house, yelling at him to get off her property. Eartha Kitt, old lady Hackmore, recognizes Ernest as the Worrell Kid, and she tells him that he will bring the curse to this town. And she shoots a flamethrower at him.
What a weird segue.
Yeah.
Burns his face off. You're going to bring a curse on this town and sets him on fire.
It'd be great if he showed up in the next scene with no eyebrows.
That would have been good. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do that.
Meanwhile, Elizabeth shows off her scream, and Kenny and her and another nerdy kid go through their homemade haunted house, detailing how they're going to get back at the Murdoch brothers, bullies, and the sons of the mayor. As if on cue, the Murdochs show up and start shaking the house, and the kids have to run out to safety just as the Murdochs successfully knock it down. Second movie in a row where someone calls someone else a butthead.
You made a big mistake, butthead. It's a good burn.
Kenny goes running to Ernest to tell him about the Murdoch boys. Ernest tells him that he needs to look to the nation of Botswana and how it handled the Ottoman Empire. And he does all his characters, from the middle-aged lady to the older lady, Ottoman conqueror, an old prospector, etc. I could not find this information regarding Botswana and the Ottoman Empire.
The moops.
I'm not sure if this is historically accurate. Then the jack that Ernest was using to jack up his truck falls and goes flying, crashing through the back window of the mayor's car. But Kenny gets an idea that they need to find a tree to make the haunted house into a tree house. So Ernest and 3 kids go stomping into the woods to look for the perfect tree. They see a few trees with no promise, then find an eerie hollow to go further into the woods, come across a very old, enormous tree that would very easily support a treehouse, so they get to work hammering the shit out of it with nails and get to work to build the treehouse. Below ground, the troll from the opening scene remains trapped as we hear the voice of Ernest's descendant speak of the horrors of the troll. not far away. Miss Hackmore hears the commotion and comes out of her house. She sees them and yells at Ernest to get away, that he'll bring the evil to the world, and she runs off. Ernest thinks she's upset because it's her tree, so he goes to talk some sense into her. As he leaves, the Murdoch kids track down the treehouse with intentions on knocking it down once again. But our hero kids are ready for them this time, and the kids use some of Ernest's adventure to shoot food cans at them and fling pizzas at them.
A waste of a perfect good pizza.
Several. And then the Murdochs run off. So later, Ernest comes back to the treehouse and he tells of what he learned from Miss Hackmore, tells the kids the exact way of summoning the troll, which has to be done by a whirl. And what do you know? He actually summons a troll, which is not unlike how they summon the demons in The Evil Dead. Sky grows stormy as the troll starts to awaken and the kids run off. Ernest is left alone except for Rimshot, and the troll comes into the treehouse. As he tries to get away, Ernest kicks over a trash can, spilling its contents out, including a carton of milk, and the troll runs away. That's a hint.
Yep.
The kids stop running.
Chekhov's milk.
Yeah. The kids stop running and they split up. Kenny and Elizabeth go one way, and the kid whose name I'm not sure we've ever got goes his own way. I think it winds up being Joey, but I think up until this point he is not named. As the kid tries to return home, he falls into a ditch and struggles to climb out as the storm has now made it muddy. So he calls out for someone to help him. He hears the voice that sounds like Ernest and a hand that grabs him. But when this kid looks up, it's the troll who has the ability to mimic Ernest's voice and turns into a doll. Meanwhile, Ernest runs all the way to the sheriff's house to tell him about the troll. Sheriff and his wife naturally tell Ernest he's crazy.
Another staple of Ernest movies.
Yep.
Ernest finds out the truth of the entire movie, but no one believes him.
Yeah.
Because he's a simpleton, right? He's basically a child.
Yeah.
I was talking about this before. Just such a carefree time where a grown man could take 3 kids into the woods and the parents don't really question it.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, well, what are you doing there? We were building a treehouse. Okay, carry on.
Yeah.
I'm sure everything was not sketchy.
That doesn't sound like grooming behavior at all.
Right. Yeah, Ernest dressed up in a bunch of different outfits. Say what now?
And 2 of them were ladies.
Right.
Like how the one always has a neck brace on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stereotype of old women. It's just they fall and break their necks.
Do you think so? Did that poor kid have to stand there the entire time while Ernest went back and forth between dressing up between several characters? It would have taken hours.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's like, all right, I got to put the old lady makeup on. Now I got to put on the Mongol makeup on. This is a whole production. Who's got time for this?
Nobody. Definitely not when there's a troll out.
Exactly. Yeah, they're wasting their time.
Yeah. The troll goes back to under the tree and sets the wooden doll in place in the tree, and pods start to grow on the tree. Ernest then goes to Miss Hackmore's house, and he tells her that he unleashed the troll. So she tells him that he's cursed the town again. She brings him inside, and she opens a book and reads about the troll. She realizes that Ernest is the one that needs to put an end to the curse because he's the descendant of Worrell. She calls him the Great Redneck Hope. So Ernest runs around Main Street with a bullhorn, yelling at everyone about how the trolls are coming. He runs to the general store where Tommy and Bobby are trying to record a commercial, and he tells them all about the troll. Tommy tells him that he knows all about trolls and has stuff that can help Ernest stop the troll, so he starts ringing him up for all the supplies to the tune of about $1,100. Meanwhile, Kenny and Elizabeth realize that Joey, the other kid, never came home last night, and Elizabeth thinks it has something to do with what Ernest was yelling about at Kenny's house the night before. So they go searching for Joey in the woods and make it back to the tree. They see a wooden doll of Joey and run off, never seeing that the troll is not far behind them. They make it to Miss Hackmore's place. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have to say, I really enjoyed the troll design in this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like it was one of those like, it's perfect for the age range you're trying to hit with this movie. It's scary, but not too scary. And I love the fact that slight spoiler for later, how they were all born with clothes on. Is a nice touch, and they were able to use that to their advantage to give them, seemingly for the split second they're on screen, like different personalities.
Sure. So the Chiodo brothers, man.
Yep.
So they make it to Miss Hackmore's place and see Ernest's truck, so they go inside. Meanwhile, the troll makes do by snatching a skateboarding kid, which all of a sudden Miss Hackmore's place is right by the side of the road, when it was in the woods the whole time. But that's neither here nor there. Miss Hackmore scares the kids by saying that there might be a sacrifice of a child in order to stop the troll. But Ernest instead tries to trap it in a trash can with some bait, promptly slams the trash can lid on his hand. Troll puts
That
the
part made me
skateboarding...
chuckle a little bit. He does the very delayed scream, looking at
Yeah.
the camera.
The troll puts the skateboarding kid in the tree and his power to grow. Elizabeth is sent home by Ernest and Kenny because misogyny is strong in 1991, and they tell her to leave the troll hunting to them.
Yep.
They all go their separate ways, and as Kenny goes home, he's jumped by the Murdochs, who are wearing troll costumes, making fun of Kenny for being afraid of the troll. But his mom shows up just in time, and the Murdochs scatter. Kenny asks his mom where his dad is, and when she says he's not home, he runs off on his bike to go find him. At Elizabeth's house, she noticeably is scared of the troll, and her mom tells her to get over it, and refuses to look under the bed when she asks her to. So Elizabeth goes to look under her bed, and there's nothing there, but when she gets back up into her bed, the troll is right next to her. In probably a generation of kids' first jump scare ever, Ernest tries to prepare for troll hunting by setting up an enormous bear trap and by setting up a plan to head to the woods with Tommy and Bobby. Then he goes to the grocery store to get some snacks. Troll follows him inside. Troll tries to sneak up on Ernest, but the clerk sees it. He and Ernest play an impromptu game of charades in an effort to warn Ernest what's behind him. Clerk eventually grabs a shotgun out from under the counter, causing Ernest to throw some of his purchases, including a carton of chocolate milk, and the troll runs away. That's important. As Kenny starts looking for his dad, he runs into another kid who's out trick-or-treating. They both hear what sounds like Elizabeth calling to them from a pipe, so they go to investigate. Kenny sticks his head in but sees nothing. When he comes out, he sees the troll, and the troll turns the other kid into a doll and then chases Kenny. Kenny gets chased for a while, and then a milk truck passes and the troll runs off. That's important. Meanwhile, Ernest trapped.
Why would the troll know what that is?
I do not know. It's a
Or
fair
just
question.
because I guess because it has a picture of a cow on it.
Maybe.
Could be
Trolls
anything in there.
read
Yeah, right. Milk truck. Holy shit.
Which apparently, as we find out later on, we're not sure Ernest can.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, he struggled.
Meanwhile, Ernest's trap has been sprung and he thinks it's a troll. Kenny's dad is inundated with a whole bunch of parents regarding their missing children and the lack of trash pickup. Kenny shows up and the mayor and then Ernest arrives to proudly proclaim that he caught the troll, but it just winds up it's the mayor's sons dressed like trolls and Ernest gets fired on the spot. Kenny tries to come to Ernest's defense and say he saw the troll, but it's no use, and the mayor and Kenny's dad leave. And Ernest is left to wallow in self-pity. But he quickly finds resolve to not give up and heads for the tree.
I thought that bit was pretty good when the no quit.
Oh,
The
when
guy-
he says, just ask my fourth grade teacher.
Yeah, and it's him it's him literally in the fourth grade, and
Yeah.
they do the callback to it later.
Yeah.
I like that bit. That made me laugh.
That's a pretty good bit. Miss Hackmore is in her house and she packs up some wooden dolls that seem to be her relatives. The troll sets up more dolls and the tree magic grows stronger. Ernest makes it to the tree and sees the pods growing and says it looks like Brussels sprouts. He goes to tell Miss Hackmore what he's seen. As he drives, the troll jumps on the truck and starts attacking the truck, climbing on the windshield and stabbing at the cab roof. Troll eventually pulls off the door and starts climbing through the cab, trying to make Ernest pay for what his forefathers did to him. They wind up fighting on the flatbed as Rimshot steers the truck. Rimshot, again, is the... After failing to use nunchucks on the troll and knocking himself out in the process, Ernest then throws a length of rope at the troll and knocks it off the back. But the troll grabs the rope and starts pulling the truck towards him, so Rimshot puts it in reverse and runs over the troll. When they put it back in the drive, they can't find it, but then it pops up again and knocks Ernest into a barrel and tosses the barrel off the truck. Then Tommy and Bobby then run over Ernest in the barrel, and that made me laugh.
When he runs over the troll.
When Tommy and Bobby run over Ernest in the barrel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. Him running over the troll made me laugh. I don't know why. Just the troll just yells and then it just boop runs right over him. Both parts are very funny though.
Yeah.
The next scene makes me laugh too when
Yes.
Eartha Kitt is trying to get him out of it.
With a can opener. Giant can opener.
A giant can opener.
He has to go to Miss Hackworth to help him out of the barrel with a giant can opener, and they read over the book on the trolls. And Ernest realizes that 2 pages were stuck together and happens to be the page that's information on how to get rid of the troll. But it's ripped, so Ernest thinks it says Miak because he can't tell what the middle letter is.
Yeah.
Did anyone catch the line that Ernest says prior to that?
No.
The 2 pages are stuck together.
Yes.
That usually leads to some. Maybe it's just my mind.
A blue joke about
Yes, yeah.
what got those pages stuck together.
Yeah. Why are they stuck together? Huh? What's going on there? It's milk.
Someone's jerking off the trolls.
Right.
That's a kink.
I'm sure there's people out there, right? And I don't want to kink.
No, I mean, if you're sexualizing the troll in Ernest Scared Stupid, you should be kink shamed.
Is that where we draw the line?
Yeah, I feel like there are other lines to also draw, but I mean, come on. You have to know it's a little weird, even if you're into it.
Yeah, it's out there, right?
Just like rubbing one out, and you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I can't stop.
Well, listen, it was what was it, the 1700s? Not a whole lot to really go off of then. You got to take what you can get.
So then everyone goes to the costume contest at the school, and Ernest goes in to warn everybody about the troll. Outside, Miss Hackmore sees an exchange between a girl and her mother and realizes the heart of the child in the book means unconditional love. To leave. Then the troll winds up on stage in the costume contest, and one of the Murdoch boys starts bullying the troll, and so the troll starts attacking him and turns him into a wooden doll in front of the entire audience. The comeuppance on this one is priceless.
Yep.
It
Karma.
fucking deserves it. So everyone scatters, and Ernest stands up to it and comes in with his secret weapon, Miak, which is something we were never sure of, but it comes in a jar. Surprise, it doesn't work, and the troll tosses Ernest into an ice scene. That's important because the troll runs off because of
That's also a pretty good gag. The Miak.
Miak. Yep.
You didn't think I'd be able to find it this time of year, did you? Not
Yeah,
bad.
it's good.
This
It's
has-
good. It's one of the most memorable moments of this.
Oh yeah.
The Miak.
Yeah.
Me and a couple of my friends still quote that every now and then. I don't know why. It'll come up out of nowhere. But it's yeah. This movie has some pretty good gags in it for an Ernest movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised it only made as much money as it did.
Yeah. And it made more than it cost, right? We said it made 14.
Yeah.
So I mean it's a modest, like you said, but it still made some money for an Ernest, I guess.
Yeah, it's something. Everyone comes back in to help Ernest, and Kenny finds that Rimshot has been turned into a doll too. Now Ernest means business and runs off to the tree. And Kenny realizes that the milk is and recruits a group of kids to help Ernest. And the adults now believe the troll is real, so they all plan to go kill it. Kids go to the store and steal a bunch of super soakers and milk, and Ernest makes it to the tree just after the troll sets the last doll and the pods start to grow and fall out of the tree. Ernest tries to ram the troll with his truck, but it doesn't really work as much as he hoped. And as the pods fall into the ground, they start growing into other trolls coming out of the ground. When the adults arrive at the tree, and chaos ensues as Ernest fights the trolls, as the trolls terrorize the parents. The kids show up with milk and start killing the trolls with milk. Tables have turned, so the main troll goes into the tree and it calls on the troll demons to give him full power. His final form. Kenny and Ernest and his multiple personalities clear out the remaining trolls. Everyone cheers, but Miss Hackmore tries to tell them that it's not over. And then Super Shredder Troll knocks Ernest out of the tree house,
Yes.
leaving Kenny alone with the troll.
That's exactly what I thought. He goes super shredder.
Now the troll is immune to milk and turns Kenny into a wooden doll too. And then the troll jumps down ready to kill Ernest. And as Ernest gets ready to toss milk at it, he realizes that unconditional love is the true way of killing the final troll. So as it runs towards him to kill him, he picks it up and dances around with it, kisses it on the lips, causes the troll to explode. And all the kids come back to normal, come out of the tree, and all the kids reunite with their parents, including Miss Hackmore and her pioneer-looking family. I don't know how old Miss Hackmore is supposed to be.
Oh, that's a good question, right? Because there's no way she's not over 100 years old.
Right, so yeah, so the first scene is got to be like 1800s, right? At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah,
like
that
Salem
makes
era,
sense.
but it's really probably more 1800s.
Right, 'cause what Salem was 1600s, right?
Yeah, 1691. I think.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd have to be it would have to be the late 1800s.
Yeah.
I do think the only person having more fun than Jim Varney in the movie is her kid.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she's so
absolutely.
good in this movie. So she's so fun.
Yeah.
And then Ernest cries because he doesn't think that Rimshot is coming back, which made me cry as a kid.
That upset me as a kid too.
Yeah, because Ernest's such a simple, soft-hearted person, and the only thing he ever cares about is Rimshot, and he doesn't think it's coming back. Almost made me tear up
He's-
watching this again, even though I
He's
know
ba-
full well.
He's basically Lenny, right? He's a Lenny.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
just cares about his animal.
But then Rimshot comes out of the truck and jumps into Ernest's arms and starts licking him all over his face. We fade out. And that is the end of Ernest Scared. It's a fun time. It really is. It held up a lot better than I thought. I mean, I think part of it is the design on the trolls being done by the Kyoto brothers or Chiodo brothers. I think I've said their name like 4 different ways in this podcast. Or at the kids' performance, as we've mentioned, she's great. And Jim Varney's great. This is like, yeah, this is him in his heyday. I guess not really his heyday because this was the last one that went to theaters, but it's a
Yeah.
solid flick.
Yeah, I think my point still stands is that I think my only gripe with this movie watching it now is every so often some of the bits he did, I just do the, all right, move along. I get it. Let's, like
Yeah.
the winning the award thing, and then he, points out to the crowd, which is probably pretty cool in a movie theater as a kid.
Right.
But
probably
I'm
was
like,
the
all right, I
line.
get the joke. Okay.
Yeah, that was
Like,
probably
give
a
it-
big laugh line in theaters at that back then.
But again,
Uh,
yeah, I don't know if that's an age thing for the movie or an age thing for myself. But those were the only parts that, I felt, were a little too slow.
I feel like my dad rolled his eyes so hard in the theaters when those moments happened. So yeah, if he wasn't asleep.
Yeah.
So, like, this is a serious question, and I think the audience wants to know this as well as I do. Does your dad still hold this against you?
I don't know. I don't know if he remembers this as well as I do, but this is one of the few things I remember of the year I was 6 is this exact exchange.
Yeah. And us all knowing your dad, I can hear him say stupid Ernest
Yeah.
in a very, mocking way.
Damn, man, how you gonna do that to your 6-year-old kid? It's not like you're 13, 14 years old and you want to go see Ernest scared stupid.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, really? Okay, I'm gonna do this very begrudgingly.
Yeah, I don't know what he wanted me to say that I wanted to see. Can we go see Terminator 2?
I'm sure he would love to see that.
Yeah. I mean, that was
You
my
know.
I was entirely too young when they let me watch that movie when I was a kid.
Hey,
We rented it.
that's the burden of being a parent, man. You're gonna have good times, and then you're gonna have Ernest scared stupid.
Yeah.
You just gotta roll with it.
I feel like you could do a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure. You could see Ernest goes to jail.
Hey, that's not a bad one either.
I've never seen it. I just assumed it was bad.
And I think the ones that went to the movie theater are actually.
Does he go to Africa? Is that one, or is that a Simpsons gag?
No, that's Ernest Goes to Africa. That is a real one. Yeah.
Okay, so that can't be good, right?
But Ernest Goes to Jail, he plays 2 characters. You know how we love that.
That always goes over
He
well.
plays the evil version of Ernest.
And in
Does he have
some
a
of the.
mustache?
I think at some point he does. I think in the beginning.
Perfect.
He either has a mustache or like a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
You don't realize until you look back at some of the credits that those multiple personality characters that he plays all have names.
Oh, get out of here, really?
Credited as like 5 different people in some of those early Ernest.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I hope the crew would get a kick out of that. You know what I mean? Like him kind of doing a little bit of Robin Williams free-forming, just going off the dome. And I would hope that the crew would get a kick out of it, and they're not just sitting there, just fucking Christ, this again.
Right.
Yeah, because Varney seemed like such a good dude.
Yeah.
I would imagine that he was well liked by the cast and crew.
Yeah. Now I don't know if I've made this up in my head, but was he like a Leslie Nielsen type that he was like a classically trained actor that just fell into this, or was he a comedic actor from the beginning?
I think he started out in commercial. I think that was his thing. Like I think it was like Mellow Yellow or something like that. That's where he got his start.
That's where I think Ernest got its start.
I was talking about Jim Varney.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
He was a stand-up comedian.
Okay, so never mind. Because I know that's the whole Leslie Nielsen thing when I randomly caught him in like black and white movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, he was a serious actor.
Planet Terror was that was one of his first movies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was he did some work on some like early sketch shows in the 70s.
Johnny Cash one I saw or something.
Yeah, Johnny Cash and Friends.
Yeah.
And he was a stand-up. His special was character comedy.
Okay, so not even close to what I was. Got it.
When did he passed away? When 2010, 11?
2000.
2000? Wow, he's been dead for a long time. I thought it was in the 10s.
Yeah.
Man, that's sad. Cancer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a shame.
All right, you
On
guys.
that note,
Yeah, you guys want to plug your shit now?
I don't know if I'm gonna change it up because whenever I plug my Twitter, nothing fucking happens. So there's really no need to do that. So if Mark is okay with me kind of stealing his thunder a little, just give a quick. I was just gonna give a quick shout out to our Extra Life campaign coming up in November.
Go ahead, do your pitch.
So Yeah, so every year we've been teaming up with Extra Life and raising money for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. It's a 24-hour stream where Mark, myself, Anthony, and some of our friends we play video games, we play Dungeons and Dragons, 24 hours, and then we're hoping to raise money. We're gonna do some silly things for goals that we reach. A lot of fun, and every year it gets better and better. So if you are interested in joining, helping us out, raising some money, having some laughs, I believe it's tinyurl.com/markhatesart. Correct? Okay,
Yes.
so that's where you could donate, and you can donate up until the end of the year, December 31st. So our goal is what, $1,000, Mark?
Yes.
Okay, so we want to reach that $1,000. We need your help. Come hang out with us, keep us company, give us some ideas that you want to see us do stupid stuff, and yeah, that's it's gonna be November 13th, starting at 9 a.m. at Game Vault twitch.tv/Game Vault Pod.
All right, Mark, anything?
Yeah. So to just add in to finish up the Extra Life pitch, we will be introducing a couple of elements to this thing that'll hopefully entice more donation and also maybe some slight suffering on us. We're going to have a wheel of consequences, as we'll call it, where we haven't decided exactly what the parameters will be to get us to spin the wheel, but there'll definitely be a wheel. And I've also been talking about my nieces got the home version of Plinko from Price is Right, and there could be some cool things we could do with that as well. So I want to start introducing some interactive stuff with the chat and the people that do show up on November 13th, so that we can be able to, not have it just be you watch us play video games and talk in the chat. You'll have some, influence on some things that may happen during the broadcast. So be on the lookout for that stuff. But yeah, so real quick, Stranger Damies, our D&D podcast, which always leads off Extra Life, airs every other Wednesday. The last episode before Extra Life will air next Wednesday. So be sure to check it out, and you'll be completely caught up. At some point between then and Extra Life, I believe it'll just be the next Wednesday. I don't know if I was going to maybe hold it until the week of Extra Life. But either way, there's going to be an installment of Talking to Strangers, which is my interview thing where I basically talk to the players. We'll hype up Extra Life, talk about the campaign so far, and just go from there. It's usually a good time, about an hour or so recorded, so be sure to check it out. You can find it on Instagram and Twitter at Stranger Damies. And then we have the Game Vault podcast, which is our gaming podcast that the Twitch channel is named after. That airs every other Monday. We just had an episode air this week, so be sure to check that out. We're on all socials at Game Vault Pod. And then, as I mentioned, we stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Game Vault Pod. We stream currently 3 nights a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. They're each different themes. Tom does old school RPGs. He does a retro roulette game from the podcast. Wednesdays, we all get together and play a multi-player shooter. We're trying to play Back for Blood, so it's us against PvE sort of thing, against enemies. Or we play multiplayer, PvP stuff. We're sometimes joined by guests like Jonathan and Dan and stuff like that. It's just sort of our get-together day. And Thursdays is my co-op streams, where I'm currently playing through It Takes Two with Jen. But we will be having a special friend of the podcast play through an entire game co-op with me as we go along. So once again, you can find that all over at twitch.tv/GameVaultPod. Please send us a follow, a subscription if you're able. Use your free Prime subscription on us. We'd greatly appreciate it. And also hit the little bell on there so you're notified when we go live.
Okay, great. And we are They Called Us a Movie. You can find us on all podcast streaming apps just by searching They Called Us a Movie. So Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we will be there. Just search for They Called Us a Movie. We're the maindamie.com. That is our main website. And you can find us on all social media just by searching The Main Damie. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just search The Main Damie and we'll pop right up. This is basically closing out 31 Days of Horror. I didn't do nearly as many articles as I wanted to or should have, but maybe I'll do a wrap up and I'll rate and list out the ones that I did to write art. But yeah, check that out for all our articles, all our shows that we do. We always post things up there. We are proud member of Geek Vibes Nation. You could find us at gvnation.com and on all podcasts and all podcast streaming apps and all socials just by searching Vibes Nation. Tons of great shows. If you're into geek stuff, surely a show for you. If you want to hit us up on email, if you want to suggest a movie that you want us to watch, just hit us up at themaindemmy@gmail.com. If you have time, please go on to your podcast streaming app of choice, give us a 5-star review. It really helps us get noticed. And that's gonna wrap it up. Also, if you want to check out our TikTok, TikTok is just search for They Called This Movie and we'll be there. And that's gonna wrap it up. So the movie this week was was Ernest Scared Stupid, directed by John R. Cherry III. So for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, it's Anthony Delavecchio telling John R. Cherry III, well, you certainly made a movie, didn't you?